Hi guys, so I wanted to outline in detail the changes that I planned on making and have already made to my teaching unit. So my teaching unit was about LPN breakdown and receiving, um, which is full pallet receiving in a warehouse environment. Um, I broke it up into two classroom uh, periods. It's a You go through this class over the course of an 8-hour shift. It's two different sections. The first part is obviously the breakdown part, as I mentioned in my teaching unit. The second part is the receiving part of it. And initially we had a different document here. You're looking at a very sneak peek of our learning management system we utilize. We had a different document here that detailed, first off, receiving as a standard operating procedure in itself, because there is full pallet and case receiving. And then it broke down just LPN breakdown. The LPN breakdown part of it was not super specific. Um, so then I created that document and modified it based on how it was set up in our building back in Kansas. Currently I'm sitting in my hotel room in Kentucky, detailing this out. We just finished this last week. Um, the previous document was pictures, images of the process that we did back home. And so this document here, this stayed the same. Some of the core changes I've used where we made it to be relevant to their area. So this is detailed out in step 1 of LPN breakdown. We utilized images of their actual product as it was being received and their facility and their setup on the fly rather than utilize what the previously pre-set up images were in document was. And then we combined the breakdown and receiving pieces together to better follow the flow of the process. So what I did was essentially I set up the breakdown SOP and then tied in the LPN receiving SOP, as well as trimmed the fat down, if you will, from the original receiving SOP. And I can toggle back over and show that very briefly. So additionally, I talked about the TWI method and the 4-step process. So let's zoom in here a little bit. We use these TWI documents, and I've bolstered this a lot from what it used to be, to kind of aid in a guide for teaching our trainers on how to teach this methodology, teach this workflow, and kind of broke it up into these steps where after I've told them what they're going to do, here is what I'm going to do to show them what they're going to do. So I'm going to pull this full pallet aside. I'm going to give the PO to the receiver. I'm going to break down the pallet, organize a new one, tag it, and take it to the pickup lane. So I'm going to show them that, and they're going to be able to follow me along as I'm showing them that. And it has do's and don'ts for me to kind of reiterate with them. I added this one in for better teaching purposes for the trainer to guide them through. So more of a guideline to the process. So introductions on the left side there, what to talk about safety wise, how to talk about visual control, what the different colors mean, and then the debriefing piece. I also gave multiple scenarios on the side for the trainer to discuss and point out, and what to do if there are any exceptions, any issues with the pallet, who to reach out to. So I'm briefly going to toggle back over to what the receiving document was and how we simplified it, and that way you can see that that's some of the changes that have already been made in order to make this process that much smoother and that much easier to teach. So the whole entire receiving standard operating procedure, I believe, is about 15 slides or so. So we were able to simplify it down into 7 easy teachable steps. So all in all, in comparison, the changes made to the job breakdown and the process will ultimately make this a lot easier to teach and to instruct. Therefore, the material is now relevant to what they're learning, so that there is zero confusion there, as well as it is farther built out for the trainer from that aspect to be able to teach successfully.